welcome everyone to Talk Wrestling here on the NoDQ.com YouTube channel, as well as NoDQ.com, your #1 source for wrestling news and information, as well as indie wrestling, WWE, indie, TNA. Oh, actually, I guess TNA is indie on our channel, isn't it? Anyway, this week's questions here on Talk Wrestling come from the world of Twitter. You can find me on Twitter @_Jeff Meacham. You can also tweet NoDQDOTCOM for Aaron. If you really want to get a hold of him, you can find him at Aaron Rift. But NoDQ.com and _Jeff Meacham are the two main Twitter handles you can find for this show. First one today comes from Walter Main at Waltman1989. I'm guessing that's Waltman, the two words, because the M's capitalized. Do you see WrestleMania returning to Chicago, if possibly in Soldier Field? Well, I know they asked Mr. McMahon about this a few weeks ago, and he had mentioned that WrestleMania would be returning to Chicago soon. And considering they're trying to keep WrestleMania in stadiums, I can't really think of anywhere else where in Chicago they would host WrestleMania except Soldier Field. I just don't know if Soldier Field is a new enough building, a new enough stadium to hold such an event like WrestleMania. WrestleMania has been in Chicago many times, but never at the stadium capacity level. They've been at the Rosemont, they've been the Rosemont all 3 times they went to. The Allstate now, the Allstate Arena. But I do see WrestleMania going back to Chicago. No question about that. I think Soldier Field would be a great venue to have. I've never been to Soldier Field, but I've heard great things. If it snows in March or April there, then they might have a problem. But, you know, you never know. They've had Super Bowls in snow, so why not WrestleMania, you know? This is from @Kaylin James. What are your thoughts on Rollins' pedigree finisher? Should it be renamed? If so, what would you guys name it? I actually, first of all, let me state for the record that I am bummed they took away the curb stomp. However, it was proven that nobody could really take the curb stomp properly, the way that it should be taken. Number 2, whatever I said, I don't know, I lost track of what I said in that awful. The curb stomp was Super Dragon's move, in my opinion, here at PWG and at Ring of Honor and CCW. Super Dragon is the one that would bring the guy's arms back and then stomp through the back of his head. That's a curb stomp, damn it, not the way Rollins is doing it. So if they're going to do it that way. I have no problem with Rollins adopting the pedigree as his finisher. He does it very well. He's shown that guys can take it, like Orton, like Ambrose. You know, people can take the pedigree very well, and I dare say better than Triple H has been given it out here lately. Triple H always seems to have the guy go on one knee when he hits the mat, not full-on face first like Rollins has the last 2, 3, 4 weeks. Renaming it, no. I mean, he's the architect. They could call it the floor plan or the layout or, you know, some sort of weird architecture thing, but if they're saying he's adopted it from his mentor Triple H, then let the mentor's name stay, the pedigree. It makes sense. So no, don't rename it. Use it by all means, but don't rename it. Don't ever do that. This is from Billy Hoyle at Mr_Murray07. Oh, not 07. Missed your take on the NXT TakeOver show. I would say that Diva match stole the show. You? Becky and Sasha really showed me something, and they are saying that it is the best Divas match, women's wrestling match in years and years. I think they're forgetting back at TakeOver last year in the finals of the tournament to crown the second NXT Women's Champion between Charlotte and Natalya, how well those two did and how much time they had to work with. I think the matches are like on a par with one another. I think that Charlotte and Natalya had a great chemistry, and they always will, and they're both tremendous second or even third generation superstars in wrestling, and I think both of them had a tremendous, I keep using the word tremendous, an unbelievable match at TakeOver last year. And then you've got this year, you've got Becky Lynch and you've got Sasha Banks, who are two of the up-and-coming divas of tomorrow, if you want to call it like they call Paige, in NXT, and both of them had just a phenomenal showing at TakeOver. That match was good. Owen Zayn was good again. Yes, they went to a no contest, and yes, Samoa Joe's return to mainstream wrestling was unbelievable. the reaction that NXT Universe gave Joe in Orlando, which is where he's made his name the last few years, really showed me that he is still a contender to any sort of championship he wants to challenge for and any sort of wrestling promotion he wants to work for. I'm very much looking forward to seeing videotape of him and AJ teaming up against The Addiction, Daniels and Kazarian at Ring of Honor on June 20th. I cannot wait. You know, it's just gonna be awesome to see those four guys go, and it's gonna be great to see what they do with Samoa Joe going forward. It's gonna be awesome to see, you know, how they match up Joe with Owens, with Zayn when he comes back, with Finn Balor, with Hideo Itami, with Tyler Breeze, with all these guys that Joe will be facing for the first time as far as in a WWE capacity compared to what they did in Ring of Honor or PWG or wherever they faced off in the past. It's going to be great to have Joe on board now. Jayhawk Kid at Ricky Lawson. What are your thoughts on Gail Kim's comments about Vince and Josh Matthews calling WWE hypocrites? Well, I'm not sure how to take either one of those opinions, and I'll tell you why. First of all, Gail Kim, I've always liked Gail Kim. I've always liked her style. I've always liked her in-ring work. I've always liked the fact that she is one of the best, if not the best ever. But to call a former boss sexist and to basically publicly outcry on Twitter how sexist he is and how his son-in-law is a better booker than he is, and just, it seems like sour grapes to me, and I'm not sure how to really respond to that. I will agree with the fact that Triple H is a better booker as far as NXT compared to WWE's booking with Vince McMahon, but to call Vince sexist because the NXT Divas are booked better than WWE Divas is possibly unfair. It's just my personal opinion. And Josh Matthews' opinion means diddly to me. I think Josh Matthews is a big old douchebag, personally. I've never liked him. I didn't like when I met him at Access a couple different times. I've never liked him when I've encountered him at shows. He's always been a little twerp. He's always been a jerk. And him calling WWE hypocrites because they don't acknowledge Samoa Joe's past TNA as far as, you know, the last, whatever, it's been 10 years. So is he a hypocrite for not acknowledging Sting's past too, Josh? Do we want to bring that up too? Or how about acknowledging anybody else's past? How about acknowledging Hogan going to TNA? Or how about, you know, they don't acknowledge TNA. That's not their job. Your job at TNA is to make you guys look better than WWE. And you saying shit like that, calling them a hypocrite for not acknowledging Samoa Joe, is ridiculous. And Gail Kim calling him sexist makes you guys look weak as far as TNA goes. So who's at fault here? Is it TNA or is it WWE? Just saying. Last one today from Kayfabe Candy Ass at K, the letter K, Fabe Candy Ass. Question for Talk Wrestling, since we touched on it a little bit. Is there any hope for Cody Rhodes past Stardust, or will he not live this down? Kayfabe Candy Ass is a great contributor to my Twitter feed. I love reading his replies to me, so thank you for watching Kayfabe Candy Ass. I personally think that the only way they're going to salvage Cody at this point is to have the Stardust character have some sort of like blow to the head or something, and some sort of awakening, and realize that he is Cody Rhodes, not Stardust, because they've gone so far with this character. I mean, he's disowned himself from the Rhodes family. He's totally beat his brother Goldust down. He's totally told Dusty off. I personally do not think there is any hope for Stardust or Cody Rhodes past the Stardust gimmick, but I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm very wrong in that statement. Okay, that's going to do it for this episode of Talk Wrestling. Thank you very much for watching. Before I let you go, gotta get the plugs in a little bit. Let me first mention my boys from AWS and Hollywood Wrestling. Of course, Rick Ellis, Devin Sparks, the Arrogant Bastards with an E. They had a tour of Japan recently. They went on COVID. I didn't mention this last week. I totally forgot, guys. I'm sorry. But I heard it went very well, so congratulations to my boys. I managed them back at Epic back in 2009 as part of the original Legacy. Not the WWE Legacy, but the original group Legacy. Those two, Jameson Stafford, Tim Donst, and Jason Strife. They were high society altogether, but the three of them, Stafford, Ellis, and Sparks, were the original legacy. So big ups to my boys who had a tour of Japan. They asked me to go, and I couldn't go. I was so bummed because I'm broke, bitch. I couldn't get over there, so I apologize. As far as plugs for upcoming stuff, don't forget to go to NoDQ.com for all your latest wrestling news information for WWE, TNA. There's columns on there. There's videos on there like this one. All kinds of great stuff at NoDQ.com. You never know what you're going to encounter when you go to NoDQ.com. So check it out there. You can find me on Twitter at _Jeff Meacham. You can also find the NoDQ.com, NoDQ.com Twitter for all your latest wrestling news. If you don't want to go to the website, you can go to Twitter and then you'll go to the website anyway. So either way, you're going to the website. And as far as shows on this channel, don't forget to watch me every week. You can watch Mike Nagel, he's back. Wade Needham's back. Noah Donish is ever going. He continues on despite you people hating on him. Shame on you, all of you. And of course, the boss himself at NoDQ and V. NoDQ and AV. Did I say it right? Okay. One of those. And of course, you can find Aaron and I here each and every month, or actually every couple of weeks, seems like, for pay-per-view predictions. So all that stuff on the NoDQ channel, plus the old stuff back in the day. You can watch the Classic Talk Wrestlings. The old XMB episodes are on there, some of them. You just never know what you're going to encounter when you go to NoDQ channel or NoDQ website. So check out everything we have to offer, and we will see you next week on Talk Wrestling.